If you zoom out, this is just par for the course.
Well, it's really the best way for people to save for the future.
What has fundamentally changed?
From the Satoshi's Hive studio in beautiful Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada, welcome back to Bimblebit. I'm Damian.
I'm Andy.
And we're just two guys sitting around a table talking about Bitcoin. We just saw some really cool clips there. First one was our friend Natalie Brunell from Coin Stories.
Right.
That is a podcast. Bitcoin is the best investment.
Gotta love it, hey?
Yeah.
And what about our friend Mr. DiAgostino from Coinbase, talking about what has fundamentally changed about Bitcoin.
And of course, Captain Saylor's in the mix there as well, saying there is nothing to worry about. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us wherever you are on YouTube, Nostr, and around the world. Subscribe, like, follow. Thanks for tuning in. If you have anything interesting, let us know. Bimblebit.com. We got some fun stuff lined up for you today. We're going to see the full videos of what we saw, those little clips, and we're going to talk about a couple of fun things coming up here right away.
Yeah, exactly.
On the way, we're going to hear about a solo miner. They're having great success this year.
They certainly are, aren't they? And our Ohio congressman introducing a new bill, and then El Salvador steps way up.
We've got that and more on the way, and make sure you stay till the end because we've got great events coming up. Wherever you are, there's something happening in the Bitcoin world.
If it were only that easy.
Well, solo miners are doing absolutely great this year.
Another one comes,
So
hey,
cool.
you know, and they got $266,000 American dollars for the 3.16 Bitcoin. Now, you know, they have to compete with all of these other mega miners with, you know, multiple machines and everything like that. But I think this is about like 5 or 6 this year,
For sure.
that have come through and being able to. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's the little guy in a big pond actually making a win. So
Exactly. It is
congratulations.
random.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And down in the States, some really great news. Breaking records today, the state of Texas, the first state to buy Bitcoin. And how did they do that? They broke it up a few ways.
So what is it they bought? They bought 5 million in IBIT shares, the BlackRock
Through BlackRock.
ETF, right? And then they decided that they were going to use the other 5 million. They're going to self-custody that and do that themselves. So they bought some spot and they bought some ETF. So
Wow.
strategy there, you know. I mean, but that's the first state.
Yep.
To actually buy
Yep.
it. We've talked about it on previous shows. We put maps up of how many, you know, states are now, you know, what phase they're in and everything like that. And now we finally see the first one actually do it.
No pun intended, but Texas finally pulled the trigger.
Yeah, that's right.
They are an open carry state and they have the lowest crime in the world. So go put the two together right there.
And where will that lead other states to, you know,
Yeah.
hurry up and get
It
involved
has to
as well?
start somewhere.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And Texas, they started it. Good on them.
While we're talking about BlackRock, they did some buying.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
BlackRock. So this was significant too. What happened is they bought, what did they buy? 2.4, no, they now own 2.4 million shares of their own, you know, but they increased their share by 14% last week
Cool.
in one go. So yeah. Yeah.
And we've got El Salvador. We promised to buy 1 Bitcoin a day. Well, they threw that right out the window and they went all in this time.
They did. They bought 1,100 Bitcoin.
It's $100 million.
Yeah, that's called buying the dip. But you know, you gotta think about these things. A lot of people say you buy when it's red, when everybody else is scared.
Yes.
And I mean, you know, I really think that Bitcoin still is going to reach that magical number pretty soon. So
Yeah.
I say good on him. Good for you. And especially good for El Salvador.
Absolutely.
That country is going to be 10 times richer than it was.
Yep. And they're well
And they
on their
need
way.
it.
Yes, they
Yeah.
do, for sure.
Yeah.
The best way to get Bitcoin is to go out and buy it yourself and not try to steal it. We've got another crypto crime on the way.
Yeah.
Bitcoin. If it was only that easy.
So this is a fun story. This time it comes to us out of Russia.
Okay.
21-year-old guy goes into the St. Petersburg's crypto exchange and pulls out fake grenades. Unfortunately, he was left to pull the pins and throw them, and nothing happened. So Russia's now on this thing about securing your crypto. I think it's pretty darn secure.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about Web3 and getting your stuff off your handheld devices and getting it onto your cold wallets.
Right.
There's a lot of talk of that going on. But I mean, honestly, it's just easier to go out and buy. Once the Bitcoin is stolen, if someone does get away with it, it is instantly flagged. It's known to be stolen and can't be used.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they do use it, then they know where to go and you're pretty much
And
good.
who, ties to that wallet will be able to,
And if you even think about the bigger picture of blockchain and how secure it is, if you want to go and change anything on the blockchain, you have to go back to day one and change everything. It's an impossibility, truly. So it's pretty darn secure, and we like it that way. So we're going to get into the videos coming up.
Yeah.
Natalie Brunell from Coin Stories. We're going to hear from Michael Saylor and John DiAgostino.
Correct.
From Coinbase. Those are on the way.
Keeps climbing. We're dropping fast. 6 miles and counting. All right, lights on. Whoa, that's an entire field of Bitcoin. If it were only that easy.
All right. Time to get our hands dirty. Let's dig into these videos, shall we? Which one do you want to do first?
Gosh, let's do Natalie.
Okay, so Natalie basically talks about the joy and happiness of Bitcoin and why it's such a good investment.
Well, it's really the best way for people to save for the future. We exchange our time and our energy for money, and that money can be printed out of thin air by people we do not elect. And I want people to be able to save in something that no one can ever inflate, no one can confiscate, no one can manipulate, and it's something that they can use to plan for their families, for their futures. I think Bitcoin is truly for everyone, is the most accessible form of capital available to 8 billion people around the world, and it's really changing lives everywhere.
For young families and young people, it is the thing to do.
It is. And it's just a shame that 95% of all Bitcoin is being mined, but only about 5% of the people in the world
Isn't that
know
wild?
about it. And, but nevertheless, it will create huge generational growth.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Yes.
It's coming back. And we go to Coinbase's John DiAgostino. The question is, what has fundamentally changed? Let's see what has.
In these situations, I try to step back and ask myself, what has fundamentally changed since, let's say, late September, when everyone was incredibly bullish? And the answer for me is nothing. Structurally, we're where we were, if not better.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's good.
Yes.
We're actually better now than we were then.
Well, a lot of things have been cleaned up, because when they go through these, it came down 36% from its high, right?
Yes.
Although today is a great day. It's up to 90,800, up 3.91% today.
It's creeping back.
And you know what? And maybe that bottom has been found. And now, who was it? I think it was Tom Lee today. He was talking about we've not seen Bitcoin's best 10 days yet this year.
I love it.
And I tend to think it's more like 13, actually, if you look back. But I'll take 10. I'll take 10 good days.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't forget the captain, Michael Saylor.
Yeah, what's going on with Michael Saylor? He bought a bunch more too, didn't he?
Let's see what he has to say.
Had 15 major drawdowns. It's always come back to a new all-time high. If you zoom out, this is just par for the course. This is normal in the life cycle of an emergent transformational asset class, and it's a healthy thing. It clears out the tourists, the leverage, and the weak holders, and sets the basis for the next rally upward.
Man, the guy is such an amazing proponent of Bitcoin. He's almost like the grandfather that says, "Don't worry, just don't worry. It's good. It's fine. Don't worry about it."
Listen, he has a strategy, and that strategy is to buy under any circumstances.
Yeah.
Right? Even Tom Lee said it was 100,000. It was just too cheap.
Yep.
Just too cheap.
Awesome. Well, we have come to that time. Let's find out what's going on in the world of crypto. Our entertainment update is now. Well, it's always a blast to do this with you, Andy. Hey, if you guys got something going on in your crypto space, make sure you let us know. Bimblebit.com. We got lots of stuff going on all the time. We'd love to hear from you. Any closing comments? Any last stories?
Any last
Yeah.
Thailand actually stepped up, and they're introducing 0% capital gains tax on Bitcoin and some other cryptos as well. I mean, they want to be known also as a Bitcoin kind of leader as far as the countries go. And Uber is getting close to being able to accept crypto.
I love
Bitcoin.
Uber, Walmart. I mean, the list is growing. Steak and shake and steak.
And Square, right? Now wherever they use Square, you can pay in Bitcoin now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Main Street adoption is really growing. And someone said that may be the catalyst for the next FOMO.
I like it.
Yeah.
Let's run with it.
Well, you betcha.
Thank you, sir.
You betcha.
Well, it's always a pleasure. We'll do it again. Make sure you tune in every week. Join Andy and I right here on Shooting the Shit, only on Bimblebit.com.
Cheers, mates.